Back once again for another edition of Cape and Today. Today, Heather and I are joined by Gloucester Mayor Greg Verga once again to catch us up on what is happening now as Gloucester careens towards summer. How are you, Mayor Verga?
I'm great. I'm careening towards summer, man.
Well, it's great to have you back with us. I know there's a lot going on. Right off the top, there's an announcement about parking kiosks.
Yes, and I just did another interview, and I use this phrase. I'll use it here. The honeymoon is over. The free parking honeymoon is over.
I love that honeymoon too.
It was a long one.
It's been a real long and fun time, but all good things, as they say, must come to an end. And we've talked about the history of the kiosks, that the wrong ones were installed. They got the kiosks back. They had plastic bags in them. We did start charging again late last year before I became the mayor. When I became mayor, there was just seemed to be too many occurrences of out of order kiosks or other problems. So I says, look, until we get this figured out, we're not going to charge for parking. And so basically, I think in the last 2 years or so, we've only had a few months of parking fees. So we wanted to make sure we did it right. So the last 4+ months, we've been working towards getting these kiosks up and running, getting all the pieces in place that were missing. The software to run it wasn't quite where it was supposed to be. The payment system, the connection to have our credit card payments, apparently was never set up. So with working with the managers here, we got it ready. We made a commitment to have it by, I'm sure people would prefer we didn't, but we got the commitment to have them online by Memorial Day weekend, and that's the plan. So starting Friday, the payments will be due. Right now, when you go there, you press the button to start, and it pops up with a message, something like parking fees waived. I don't know the exact language. Obviously, that'll be no longer there, and it'll just have the instructions to go through. And we're actually going to be shooting a video tomorrow, sort of like an instructional video of how to do it, and we'll share the link.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
So, but just can you tell us right here now, can you use a credit card and can you use quarters?
Yes. So that was one of the problems with the original batch of kiosks we got, is it took credit but not cash. And so now these new ones are in place. They'll take the Flowbird. I don't know if I have the app open on my phone, but it's called Flowbird. It's the app, and it'll also take credit cards and coins, not paper money, but it'll take coins. And I'm pretty sure it'll take the dollar coins too, which makes it a lot easier. If those coin nerds like myself will keep a pocket full, we'll be in good shape.
And do we put money in the meter on weekends?
Oh yes, yeah. It's
Saturdays and Sundays.
Not Sundays.
Okay, not Sundays.
Sundays and holidays. It should be. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I don't believe our policy has changed as far as I believe Rockport is 24/7, 365. But ours are weekends and holidays were typically excluded. I don't believe that's changed.
Right.
Okay, so weekends meaning also Saturday?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean weekends, Sundays and holidays.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay, what else is going on, Greg? It's been kind of quiet lately, except for the
except for everything else.
Yeah, we had the big kerfuffle with the zoning amendments. Do you want to comment on those at all? Your reaction to what went down last week?
Sure. Well, the zoning amendments they began originally 2017-18 with the housing production plan, and at the end of last year, the planning board, after several years of working on them, presented the city council 9 amendments, which they recommended passed. The council split them off at my request, because of the MBTA zoning, which we'll probably get into right after this. Some of the zoning amendments that we were proposing were similar in tone to what the MBTA was looking for. So my suggestion to the council is, let's go forward with these 3, and these other 6, let's sort of back burner until we get to figure out the MBTA.
So meaning the ones that were not connected to the MBTA, the amendments?
Yes, the ones that were standalone. And I feel strongly today that if those had been introduced over the last couple of years without the MBTA issue, they would have been passed, because a lot of them were no-brainers, like just things that were overlooked. And we've talked about this before. One of them in particular, you could have a 2-family, you could have a property in downtown Gloucester where by right you could tear it down and build a 2-family, or you could buy a piece of land and build a 2-family, but you couldn't add a 2-family. So that amendment, which I don't believe passed, was one of the no-brainers. So the council took up those. Some of them passed, some didn't. Then they did take up the other 6 amendments, which, as I said, related, I thought, very in spirit to what the MBTA was asking. None of those passed. So that's where we are today. What's still hanging out there is the MBTA issue. We have done everything I've said I was going to do, which was we held the public forum, which was required. People weighed in with their thoughts on it. I wrote a letter to the sort of my commentary to the commissioner and secretary, expressing that one size does not fit all. You know, we can't support them as it is. We're waiting to see what the final guidelines are. And the other thing we had to do, the most recent step, was fill out a checklist on the state website to sort of give an inventory of where we are. But I made it very clear in the commentary section that until we get the final guidelines, we're reserving our position. So the way it looks now, I don't know if the state is necessarily going to take to heart the feedback they receive from municipalities and from residents. Hopefully they do, and the guidelines come back with a significant level of revision that it's something we can live with. If it's pretty much what we got already or very similar to it, I can't commit the city to it. It'll end up meaning the loss of some grants, but it's been pretty obvious that there's not a lot of support for the guidelines as they stand today.
And so could you just repeat this? Am I understanding that the fact that the city did not pass any of these local zoning amendments, that does impact what the ask is from the MBTA? Is there an intersection there?
Yeah, I guess you could say there's overlap. Yeah. It was just coincidence, which is horrible because the conspiracy theorists conflated the two. What the city had been working on for years and what the MBTA, the MBTA is sort of just a separate component of this, but the state pushed forward as it relates to MBTA and MBTA communities. But because there was some similarities, it created a lot of concern, and frankly, a lot of people felt like the state was telling us what to do. It was just a horrible coincidence that our city is usually ahead of the game and thinking forward as far as zoning. So there is an impact because we kind of already know where the council stands, and we kind of know where the public stands. So as I said, if the guidelines from the state for the MBTA aspect are not much different than what they presented so far, you could probably see the writing on the wall.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on, Mayor Verga, another topic has been the city's inability to opt out of the state's mosquito spraying program. Can you comment on that as well?
Yes. So in the past, cities and towns still are able to opt out of mosquito spraying unless they're considered a high risk, finger quotes, high risk community, which apparently based on testing of mosquito cadavers, we are a high risk community. So we as a city can't say we opt out the whole city. Individuals, however, can opt out. I don't know how effective that is. If you have neighbors on either side of you who didn't opt out, the wind is going to take that spray into your yard. But unfortunately, that's the best we can do as individuals opt out and urge your neighbors to do so as well. But yeah, we as a city, the entity of the city, we can't say no thank you because of this high risk designation we've been given.
Now, I have to say, that's the first time I've heard that the city was actually tested and mosquito cadavers were tested. I understood it was Gloucester was high risk because it was adjacent to high risk communities.
Yeah, well, some poor mosquito went under the microscope and the scalpel, and it was determined that they had triple E, and so it was close enough to our jurisdiction that we too fall under the category.
Okay, so it may have been an Essex mosquito that went under the scalpel. Yeah.
Right. But as you know, areas of Essex are closer to West Gloucester than Lanesville is to Gloucester. So
Yeah.
It's kind of too bad. I don't support spraying. I think there are better ways of handling it. But if individuals just put some natural mosquito repellent on themselves to keep from getting bitten by bad bugs. But we are where we are, and I just urge people, they can go to the city's the health department web page, and it has a little more information as well as a link to where you can go to opt out.
Yeah, it's through the state that you opt out.
Right? Correct, but the links, we have links to that state site on the city's health department page.
Okay, great. Well, and summer is coming, as we mentioned at the start of this program.
Yeah.
So do you have concerns? Do you have worries? I know we're excited about this new beach parking system. So what would you like to share with us about your thoughts about the summer?
Concern, worry, excitement, plug in adjective here. It's there's a lot to be hopeful for, but a lot to keep an eye out for. I mean, the beach non-resident reservation system is, I think, a great idea. The conversation began before I got here. We, picked up the ball and ran it into the end zone. As I've said before, there's guaranteed to be hiccups. The first year of any new initiative is bound to have some speed bumps. So, people have been raising alarm bells for years that something needed to be done. Read the beaches, the traffic related to the beaches. We're doing something, and if anybody has other thoughts, ideas, suggestions, we're happy to take them in and see if it's something that's workable. But for now, this system should, I stress, should cut down on the traffic, because right now, the way the system works, prior to this year, people would get in their car, load it up with the kids and their beach supplies, and get on the highway, hoping to get here before the gate opened. And you multiply that by, 1,000. That's a lot of cars flowing down Thatcher Road and down Concord Street to get to the beaches, and even over to Stage 4 Park. So now they have the convenience of going online, reserving their spot, paying the same fee plus a nominal convenience fee, and then they can show up whatever time they want. The spot's there waiting for them. So that should cut down on the massive vehicles coming into the city, and it'll also cut down at the gate, because we're not going to be taking cash. It'll be just, you hold up your QR code on your phone or something you printed out, boop, you scanned, you're in. We anticipate that this message is not going to get universally spread throughout the whole Gloucester fandom. And so we're going to be prepared where our folks at the beaches will have iPads. So if somebody shows up, they were unaware of the system, they'll get flagged over to a section of the parking lot, and one of our workers will actually go in and register the spot for them, and then hopefully the next time they'll realize they can do that themselves from home. So we're trying to be prepared for any kind of what ifs. But fingers crossed, I'm feeling pretty confident that this is going to show some positive impacts on our city.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how that plays out this year, because a change had to happen. This seems like a cool alternative. It's worked in other communities.
Right.
So we shall see.
Yeah, that's the big thing. This is not, hey, Gloucester, let's try this. No one's ever done it. It's like, hey, Gloucester, let's try this. It's worked in other parts of Cape Ann, maybe Ipswich, up in Cranes Beach. It's been successful, as well as State Park. So that's why I feel pretty good about it. We're not guinea pigs. This is a system that's been proven to work in other areas. I think we can make it work here.
Great.
And it premieres this weekend, right?
That is correct. So last weekend was the last hurrah for the freebies for the parking. This weekend, it is, we are going to be there. There's going to be a lot of signage. You may have seen a couple of the light boards out there already at the Rotary. There'll be one up further up the highway. We have, I forget how many sandwich boards we bought that are going to spell out things. So people have plenty of opportunity to turn off and go home if they want, or pull over and go online, right on their phone and register their spot.
I think you need one on the Tobin Bridge.
Yeah. Or a what do you call it? A toll at the Pioneer Bridge.
Yeah,
That would have.
that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Right.
So Mayor Verga, we spoke briefly about the holiday weekend. Memorial Day is right around the corner. Are you participating in any of the observations that day?
Yes, I'll be at the high school for that observation. There's what else? We've got a lot going on. A couple other things just to keep in mind too. We're going to have the Wear Orange, which is to bring awareness to gun violence. I believe that's on the 2nd. We're going to have right here at City Hall. Going to raise the flag. We'll be raising the Pride flag, I believe, a couple days after that, because it's Pride Month in June. Then we're also going to interrupt the Pride flag will be bounced down while we put the Juneteenth flag up for a few days. I think June 19th falls on a weekend, so it'll be either the Friday before or the Monday after.
It does, yeah. It's a Sunday in June, yeah,
Right.
Just before Fiesta, actually.
So, yes, so we'll have a lot of sort of remembrances going on. And I think for the where orange in that flag raising is absolutely has a lot greater significance now after the events of the last few days. And, you know, thoughts and prayers, sorry, folks, doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. Well, we'll point out that the Memorial Day services begin at 9 a.m. at Gloucester High School on Monday.
Yes.
There's also a Vietnam Veterans Memorial Service at 10 a.m. at the site that's currently under construction near the tennis courts on Stacy Boulevard as well on Monday
Yes.
too.
Yeah, we should give a little more detail about that. So
Yeah.
the actually have a photo, you guys can't see it, but of when the Vietnam Memorial went in, I think 1981, 82. I was there as a little kid. But that used to be, as you'll recall, Corey, the front door of the high school.
Yeah.
And in the 90s, when they did the renovation, it was shifted to the other side. So it's sort of, in a lot of areas of the city, among a lot of people, it's become forgotten, you know, because it's just buried in an entrance nobody uses. So very few people use. So this group of Vietnam veterans had approached the city, Mike Hale, last year, maybe before that, about possibly moving it. So we have a nice spot at the tennis courts. There'll be a short-term setup with the stones just being moved there, but the long term it'll be like tree-lined benches, flagpoles. It'll be something really sharp that'll, you know, complement the World War II memorial right across the street. But for this Memorial Day weekend, we wanted to have at least the monument itself, the stone itself moved over.
Mhm.
Mm.
Very nice.
Nice. And what time is that again?
That is 10 a.m. on Monday.
Okay.
The usual Memorial Day festivities that leave from Gloucester High School is 9 a.m. on Monday. So a lot going on that morning. So, Mayor Verga, anything else you want to relay to the constituents?
Okay, well, so we covered the kiosks, we covered the beach parking. That's it. If you see issues out there, potholes, things like that, see Click Fix. Gonna urge people to go see Click Fix. That's the quickest way to get things done. If you're gonna call your city councilor or call the mayor, go there first too to see Click Fix. Same thing if you have a power failure, go to National Grid's website or call their hotline first, and then call the mayor or your ward council, because you know, see Click Fix is the main point of entry, as is the National Grid, because for National Grid specifically, they sort of get all of these calls that come in, all these email or online notifications, and they can figure out where the failures are, and it helps it move along a lot faster, as opposed to calling here and then we're just calling National Grid with sort of like we have 10 people called. They'll have specific addresses. So
yeah. Oh, and while you're here, Greg, everything went smooth with the paving from Exchange Street to the Rotary.
It looked great.
It looked good.
You know, it looked like it was done overnight, the grinding, and then the next morning it looked like the paving had gone in all right. And just so people know, because they're like, why are we repaving this? National Grid had to go in there and do some work. And the deal was, sure, you can go in and do it, but when you're done, because we just paved it, you got to do wall to wall. And so that's what. So this wasn't on the city's nickel. It was, you know, we try whenever we're opening up roads or doing major projects to communicate with the utilities to see if they want to get in there too. Apparently this one, if there was a failure or something, but didn't work out with the timing, but National Grid did fix it the way it's supposed to be.
Gotcha.
Great.
Very nice. Well, we appreciate your time. Have a safe and fun holiday weekend, and we'll be sure to catch up with you soon.
Great. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.